Robert Hodgman, Epping, New Hampshire. I gotta move this mic so I can see. Let me start by saying that I'm wearing the same outfit that my son wore on the same Monday, April 8th, and nothing happened to him, and that's good. I don't have any issues with any particular person. I think we're all fallible human beings. In the spirit of learning more, there are some other aspects of this issue that should be addressed. If there were students giving Soretta a hard time about her shirt, I would first say shame on you. We're in a time where people that don't support Trump are telling people that do support Trump, found your opinions are violence. Disagreeing with me is assault. For my safety, you must not be allowed to speak. You must obey. If we go along with this and concede to these types of demands, it is all over. If we let them define speech as violence, the First Amendment has no meaning. They can tell you what to say and when to say it, like in China. This is scary and we should be afraid. 2, there is a story out there that the next day a teacher asked a student, or students, it's unclear, to write an essay explaining why it was a good thing that Soretta was asked to cover her Trump shirt. As a student, I would have turned in a blank sheet of paper and expected an A, or an E. I think we should investigate this. From one teacher, myself, to another teacher, whoever you may be, I would suggest that a more appropriate question would be, which of the Bill of Rights did the request violate? A follow-up question, might be, which of the Bill of Rights have been and or are currently being violated by people in our country and or our government, namely progressives? Provide examples related to at least 2 different Bill of Rights. In case you don't know, essentially every one of our rights are currently under assault, thanks to Woodrow Wilson and others like him that follow. 3, contrary to anyone's opinion that President Trump is a controversial president, he is in fact not a controversial president. He is simply a victim of fake outrage triggered by irrational thoughts and irrational behaviors by those that don't like him, including sore losers. Remember, Trump was very popular before he even announced that he was running for president. Those same people who paid him loved him. There's actually a lot of picture evidence to prove that. These people are addicted to outrage and silly narratives. If you were born before March 4th, 1929, the best president of your lifetime was Calvin Coolidge, and I'm seriously jealous of you. For the rest of us that are not at least 90 years old, 1 month and 14 days old, Donald Trump is easily in the top 3 presidents since Coolidge. If you put those accomplishments on paper, it would be difficult not to put him in the number 1 slot. In closing, I'd like to make some recommendations. That we require a constitution course. Ideally, ideally we would take advantage of Hillsdale College, who has Constitution, Federalist Papers, Declaration of Independence, Bill of Rights courses online. I would suggest use that. It's free and outstanding material. You can also look where my son's going as an Ashbrook Scholar. I believe they have some programs too. We as students, parents, families, need to have a love affair. A love affair with common sense, a love affair with the Constitution, a love affair with the Bill of Rights, a love affair with the Declaration of Independence, a love affair with the Federalist Papers, a love affair with our country, and a love affair with liberty. We're losing our country, folks. One more recommendation. Students, someone step up. Someone start a liberty group or a young Americans for Freedom or a Constitution club, something. All volunteers and adults, I'm sure some others would to support that. It doesn't even have to go to the school. And learn together. Lastly, students, if you've got a Trump shirt or shirts, wear one every week. If you got enough, wear them every day. We're loud and we're proud.
Hi, I'm Andrea Meyer, 11 Foxwoods Road in Epping.
Andrea, may I interrupt you just for a minute?
Absolutely.
Folks, this is not working at all.
I promise.
So, Ben, you said you have one on, he's technologically astute, I'm not. And he has one on his phone, but I tried this all day, all afternoon, and it worked fine. So I apologize.
I'm a mom.
Now, go ahead, Andrea, I'm sorry. to
No
interrupt
problem.
you.
So mine is really more not involving politics. It's regarding, this is an opportunity to work, well, about the students, absolutely. It's really about the opportunity to be consistent. I was a former human resources director. I'm now a computer teacher. And I know, unfortunately, it's great to have policies and procedures, but if they're not consistently being upheld and being done, then they're not valid. They don't, you go to court, it's not considered valid. They'll tell you right flat out. If you have a policy in writing, it's as good as that piece of paper if your practice is not doing that. I received a call. I called my son at the end of the day, how was your day? Because I was at work. And he said, well, I was told to take my hat off. And I go, well, you're not supposed to wear a hat. He goes, well, it was Spirit Week. Everyone was wearing a hat. Mr. Ernest told me at lunch to take my hat off. And I said, well, that's taking it off. He said, of course I did. But when I walked into the band room, Mr. Marr was on the phone with Mr. Ernest, and Mr. Ernest was questioning whether he kept his hat off. I'm sorry, I know I'm a mama bear, but my son has never not been respectful. And so he handed his hat to Mr. Marr and said, hold on to it, because I don't want anyone to think that I'm not following the rules of what an administrator or a teacher or any adult shared with me. But the sad part is, he walked into his next class, and not only were there students wearing hats, there were teachers wearing hats, because it was America Day, it was Spirit Month. I mean, it's been crazy. My kids have gone to school in pajamas and this and that, and they're having a blast. And it's great to add to the excitement about being a part of a community. But you need to be clear about the policies, and you need to ensure that every single person, I will be very honest, my son didn't want me to say anything. He feels he's already being persecuted because he has spoken up many times about the competency-based grading. And that saddens me, because all of our kids have a wonderful voice, and they're doing a great job. And I just say, this is a great opportunity to add better training, better awareness, and be more consistent with policies. Because the jobs of these administrators and staff are a tough one, and I know that because I've been in these situations. But if we aren't consistent, we've done an injustice to everyone. So thank you.
Thank you.
Carrie Snyder, 42 Dearborn Road. I just wanted to show a little bit of a different point of view. Mr. Ernest, I think, is a fantastic principal, probably one of the better ones that we've had. And I think that some people don't know him very well. I was actually on the committee that hired him, and I was on the school board and worked with him. And he's a fantastic stand-up guy that made a mistake that I think he regrets. But I also think that you guys don't see him every day, and how he inspires and encourages kids, and how he fiercely defended our students when there was a tragedy, something tragic happened at the school and the media was here. He was the first to run outside and get the media out of here to protect our kids. And some of you did not see that. And I had to come up here because I hate to see him just get bashed and bashed and bashed for one mistake that he clearly has owned, and he has sent an apology, and I believe it to be wholeheartedly sincere. And I would hate to chase somebody out of this town for one mistake, and it would be a huge loss for us and our students. And if you talk to our students, you would find out how well loved he is in this town as an administrator. And I can see kids nodding their heads, and maybe not everybody loves him, but a lot of kids do. And he's very passionate, and he always puts students first. And he did make a mistake, I believe that as well, but the political climate, the last election was a very scary time and place in this school. I know my kids went to school saying they didn't dare say what their political views were because there were threats. And I think that was maybe why he wanted to keep politics out. I'm just saying there could be, you guys don't see the everyday inside of the school, what happens and how passionate some of the kids are. And that might be where it stemmed from, was the 2016 campaign. But I just wanted to give that point of view, and just to say that I think Mr. Ernest is a stand-up guy, and if you don't know him, please be open to knowing that people do make mistakes, and he's owned it. Thank you.
Elaine Miskinnis, 29 North Drive, Epping. I just wanted to take a moment and kind of recognize, at least for myself, how impressed I am and how proud I am right now of our community. I don't know what anybody else thought they were coming into tonight, but I expected it to be contentious. I expected it to be anger-fueled, and I want to thank especially Mrs. McKenzie for opening with a tone that really set all of us together as community and peers, and people who want the same things. We want the same things for our children, we want the same things for our community. We will not always agree on everything, but what I would personally love to see, and I'm sure I'm not alone, is for us to take this tone that we have right here tonight and bring it with us on our technology, on our social media. We're great right now, but can we be great in 12 hours when everybody jumps on whatever our social media, and we all know what it is? Can we maintain this? Can we remember that we're a community? And right now, we're being seen by the world, we're being looked at, and we have an opportunity to be an example of a place where people can disagree and come together and have conversations. We do not all agree in here about anything, but we're being watched and looked at, and we can set the tone, and we can say, here we are, this small New Hampshire community that has the opportunity to show anybody else out there that we can disagree about politics and still be a community, and still care for one another, and still be there for one another in spite of all of this. And I just hope that we can do that, and I hope that we can take it out of here tonight and remember that we're neighbors, and we're friends, and we're parents, and we're educators, and we're students, and we all have the same ultimate goals here. I have never been so proud of this community as I am. Well, I've been proud other times, but I've never been so unexpectedly proud as I am right now of who we are at this moment. So, thank you.
Thank you. Are there any other Epping residents who would like to speak?
Hello, my name is Leslie Davis, 16 Hutch Court. I'm Rose's neighbor, and I just wanted to say to all of you that Rose put a lot of thought into her presentation tonight. Not all of us always agree on what side of the aisle that we're on, but most importantly, what I want to say is she came here, her point tonight being that we are not going against the principal nor the educators. And I, for one, am very, very happy with the educators, the principals, and the support that my son, a 9-year-old, has received. And I just want to make sure that hopefully, and reinstate that Rose's whole purpose here tonight was not to talk about a political issue, but to talk about a child's rights, a child's right to creativity, to express themselves, but also to support the educators. I think she started off with that comment, and I think we need to leave with that comment tonight. And that's what I have to say. Thank you.
Thank you.
Crockton.